Welcome to Sideline Sports, where we give you an up-close and personal look at the teams, coaches, and athletes that make up the Columbia Basin. Here's your host, Jeff Slakey.
Welcome to Sideline Sports. This week, a Moses Lake freshman sets a school record in a first-ever meet. Mental health is recognized at Moses Lake Wrestling. And undefeated Wenatchee Valley girls bowling teams go head-to-head.
This portion of Sideline Sports is being brought to you in part by...
After spending 7 years in the Manta Ray Aquatics Club, freshman Zach Washburn is already making waves in Moses Lake's swimming program.
Moses Lake boys swim team got off to a hot start to the season by dominating Walla Walla 134-46. While several swimmers punched their ticket to state, story of the night was freshman Zach Washburn, who set a school record in the 100-yard backstroke with a time of 54.46 seconds. The record was set in 2003, which made it the third oldest non-relay record for the school. Washburn was in awe of his accomplishment.
Honestly, it's kind of beyond my comprehension. I did not believe that I would ever accomplish what I did.
Moses Lake will next compete on Tuesday when they host Eastmont. I'm Adam Chikoski for i5er1 Sports.
Sideline Sports is being brought to you in part by...
Cheryl Konos Farmers Insurance is your local one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, and farm and ranch, Cheryl and Farmers are here for you. She'll work to put together a package that fits your needs no matter how big or small. She's right here in Ephraitis. Please stop by for a free quote at 858 Basin Street Southwest or call 509-754-2550.
After losing a friend to suicide, a couple of Moses Lake students decide to do something to help other students in need.
Last night, Moses Lake Wrestling had their first meet when they hosted Wenatchee. Before the meet started, Moses Lake High School students Madison Kistler and Marissa Hotchkiss handed out wristbands to all the wrestlers to raise awareness for their new club, Promise for Tomorrow, a club that's meant to be a support group for students considering suicide. The club was started following the death of former student wrestler Thomas Ham, who took his own life this June. Kistler and Hotchkiss went into detail about what they're doing and why it's important.
Our wristbands, they say it's okay to not be okay, and then they say Promise for Tomorrow, which is the name of our club.
Reminder to yourself, you know, if you look down, you're having a bad day and you see that on your wrist, like there are better days and it could be a rough day, but you'll get through it.
We just want, as a high school, as one, to become closer and be more aware of how each other is feeling, whether it's a guy or a girl, a senior or a freshman, that we are there for each other, that if it comes down to it, that we would care if something happened to them.
Moses Lake Wrestling went on to dominate the match, getting 6 pins and 5 forfeits, ultimately winning 73-3. I'm Adam Chikoski for i5er1 Sports.
This portion of Sideline Sports is being brought to you in part by...
Both Eastmont and Wenatchee were undefeated going into their head-to-head matchups this week, but only one could keep their spotless record intact.
Eastmont High School and Wenatchee High School's girls bowling teams fought for command of the Big Nine Conference Wednesday afternoon. The two teams came to the match undefeated 6-0. In the first 2 regular games, Eastmont took the win on both, with a deficit of 60 in the first game and winning by only 5 pins on the second. In the first Baker game, the Eastmont Wildcats comfortably took their third win of the match with 52 pins, but the Wenatchee Panthers refused to lose to a shutout and won the fourth game with a 10-pin deficit. The Eastmont Wildcats took the win with 3 out of the 4 games and took the lead in the conference with a 7-match streak. The 2 Wenatchee Valley teams will meet again on the final day of their regular season on January 16th. I'm Madison Meyer with i5er1 Sports.
Score recaps in boys basketball. Moses Lake 64, Chiawana 48, Toppenish 63, Ephraitis 61, Warden 64, Cle-Elum Roslyn 40. In girls basketball, a close one, Zilla over Kashmir 69-68. Moses Lake over Chiawana 45-37, and Eastmont 61, Wenatchee 52. In wrestling, Moses Lake 73, Wenatchee 3, Othello over East Valley 75-3, and Quincy 43, Ephrata 23. Game of the week is Moses Lake Wrestling versus Lake Stevens. It's Thursday at 6:30. Moses Lake and Lake Stevens square off in an extremely even matchup. These two teams tied for 7th in state last year, both scoring 67. Moses Lake is always in search of a state title, and teams like Lake Stevens are about as good as a matchup as you can find to prepare for the state tournament. Upcoming games in boys basketball: Connell at Ephrata, Sunnyside at Moses Lake, and Othello at Quincy. In girls basketball, Kamiakin at Moses Lake, Ephrata at Sela, and Kashmir at Okanagan. In wrestling, it's Othello at Prosser, Sela at Quincy, and Sunnyside at Eastmont. This has been another presentation of Sideline Sports. I'm Jeff Slakey.